Bottom left-hand side of the map, playing for Cascade. It is the blue Protoss player from Russia. It's SKillous.
That's awesome. On the top right side, we're looking at the main base of our young Croatian Protoss player. It is Goblin. Do it. But there is no ramp going into the natural. Goblin, his first stock, is a little bit out of position. He does, of course, have this battery, but with one gate, Phoenix even?
Yeah.
I don't see how you ever hold this. Goblin needs to sacrifice his expand and just play a very awkward one-base scenario afterwards. He's just not holding this. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm surprised he starts a second Phoenix instead of a Void Ray as well. And barely doesn't get the Stalker. Yeah, the next wave is gonna be difficult for him to hold, and then ongoing will be continued reinforcements. This is looking more and more difficult as the shield battery is already drained out of energy.
Yep, battery overcharge is being used, but SKillous does the smart thing, and that is disengage. Can Goblin get another Stalker kill? The answer is yes. So far, it is pretty good. 2 Stalkers for no Stalkers, but the next, I would say the next 25 seconds, they are going to be crucial. How do you hold when you just have no units and your opponent has so many units? We know batteries are good, but how good can they truly be?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be very difficult. Again, no Void Rays. There's only one lift available on this Phoenix. So let's see, one Stalker will get picked off, but that's all Goblin's gonna get for the Phoenix energy, at least until the next Phoenix has 50 energy, which is 20 away. Another one pops up now.
Yeah, forward battery is going to fall, and actually SKillous was going for the pylon there for a split second. I gotta say, Goblin's defense is really good so far. It's a bloody shame he lost that one Stalker. He's really making the best of an incredibly difficult scenario, but look at the amount of units that SKillous has right now that are knocking on the front door, enough to one-shot that Stalker even. And I, once again, just don't see a way. There is another battery overcharge available, and that means one more Stalker is going to fall. But SKillous has a lot of micro potential in his army. The only thing that Goblin really has is the ability to lift the Stalker and then kill it. But he's just so far down on units, it feels like.
Yeah, now the Void Rays are joining the fray, but he has, like you were pointing out, SKillous has enough Stalkers that he's going to be able to one-shot or two-shot at least those Void Rays. So Goblin's gonna have to forfeit the low ground, it looks like. Perhaps the wise call, but I'm not sure that the high ground is gonna be much friendlier.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough production. That's the biggest problem. Goblin has been doing all of this of one gateway Stargate and one gate Stargate Phoenix. I think Goblin's build was just a little bit too greedy. It would have worked out fine against like a good old Sentry Expand or Stalker Sentry Expand, but against a straight up 3-gate, you're just not holding that with one gate and a Stargate.
Yeah, it's just incredibly difficult. Do you think the Void Race would have made a difference if he went Void Race instead of Phoenix? Is that better, or were the Phoenixes warranted here?
I think Void Race could make the difference if it's a traditional 2-gate fast expand. Even then, it's a bit greedy with a Stargate, but I think then maybe you can hold if you can get enough Void Rays out. But even that will be hard because SKillous' micro is really good and he could one-shot Void Rays eventually. But I think of 1-gate Stargate, I really don't think it matters what you build. You're not keeping that Nexus alive.
All right, so the Phoenix have crossed the map. They will spot the expansion for SKillous and also the fact that all the Stalkers have recalled. So this should give Goblin rain to kill his own pylon and go down his ramp soon. But I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish either.
And that's painful as well when you have very few... Yeah, exactly. GG gets called. SKillous will take the 1-0 lead in this very important...
Here he is spawning in the top... bottom left-hand side of the map. Roddy, what are we doing? It's SKillous.
In the top right side of Pillars of Gold, we're looking at the main base of the Croatian Protoss. He's down 0-1. Representing Team Roddy. Marvelous. It is Goblin. But SKillous really seems to be a master in just dismantling a build like that. We saw it last week, and I'm pretty sure that SKillous can do that again. On top of that, I have praised SKillous a couple of times already together with Hellraiser, that I think they are incredibly good in PvP when it comes to just making nothing but Zealots and Stalkers, kind of like how Protoss players often do against TErran. And then they just run around the map and they're super annoying. Like, you don't really want to let those guys be in their element. So perhaps I'm happy to see Phoenixes. But then again, it's hard to win with Phoenix as well in PvP at this level. But right now, economically, it looks perfectly fine. And I think if you are playing Phoenix and you're not down in workers, you're already doing something right, because you should be able to get a couple worker kills here and there and create a little lead for yourself.
All right, so that's exactly what we're seeing Goblin do as soon as the Phoenix gets spotted. The Stargate had gotten spotted right away with the probe, but then SKillous sent the hallucinated Phoenix just to double check what it was. It is, of course, this Phoenix, so we'll see what they can accomplish. But the response from SKillous here, it was to drop the blink and make many stalkers right away. Do you find that's the best way to go, or one of the better ways to go against Phoenix? What bothers you the most when you're doing it?
No, in my opinion, this is the best way. Now, what I'm about to say is going to sound a little funny. No! Goblin tried to play it safe and just split off one hurt Phoenix to see if SKillous was already going up to 3 bases. But SKillous with great stalker movement, it obviously does mean that the natural is exposed. And Goblin will get a few more kills and should get the scout here. To answer your question properly, Kat, sorry. What I actually think is the most important thing when you're playing against Phoenix is the robo. You need observers, in my opinion. Like, it's kind of like playing PvP, right? Playing against TErran drops, if you don't have any observers, is a freaking nightmare. And in PvP, the same logic kind of applies. Your life is a million times easier if you know which angle the Phoenixes are coming from. Right now, SKillous doesn't, and Goblin is getting some really good pickoffs so far with his Phoenix.
That makes perfect sense. So if you're SKillous right now, and if you don't have the observers to work with, though he is working on a robo, do you just kind of do what you did with that one Phoenix and have stalkers maybe out of position or kind of in unexpected positions out on the map, or is that too risky?
Yeah, that's a little bit risky, but sometimes it can pay off. But I think what SKillous is basically doing here is just accepting the fact that he is going to lose probes. He's like, but I don't care. I'm gonna just try to be greedier than you. I'm going up to 3 bases very, very quickly. I know you're gonna kill a couple workers here and there, but I'm just gonna replace them and still just try to have more stuff than you do.
Yeah, and he has kept up pretty well, probably using a lot of chrono boost on those probes, because he's only lagging 1 probe behind, despite losing something like, I don't know, 8 or something, right? So not too bad. And I have to imagine in a head-on engagement, the stalkers will beat the Phoenix, right? So Goblin definitely needs to make something happen.
Goblin is actually doing something that I've been doing in a little while. So he's going Phoenix Zealot with +1 air weapons. I promise viewers at home, I did not tell him to do this. I wouldn't try to implement my baboon builds to this level. But this can actually work out really well, because I think SKillous is expecting Goblin to go for a very immortal heavy-based army. And SKillous hasn't scouted a lot because he lost his sentries, remember? So I actually think that if SKillous moves out a bit too early, he is going to get swarmed. This is almost like a good PvT build that can work in PvP as well. If your opponent doesn't expect it, and SKillous is really not expecting it, I think SKillous is going to have to recall these units home real quick, because Charge is about to finish up. These Phoenixes are powerful. I think SKillous is in trouble.
Yeah, it really looks like it. The Zealots are going to tank so much damage for those Phoenixes as well. But Goblin has not yet revealed his hand. He wants SKillous to kind of go into the mouth of the beast here before he kind of surrounds with everything and wipes this out.
Yep.
So
+1 is
yeah, go on.
Yeah, +1 air weapon is about to finish up, which makes a very big difference. All right, here we go. SKillous still thinks he can fight this. I'm really surprised that after he realized he wasn't up against Immortals, but he was up against Phoenixes and Zealots, he decided to stick around. I gotta say, Goblin is lifting a lot of units at once, which means the Phoenixes are not dealing that much damage, but this is still a victory for the Croatian Protoss. I don't understand. Why did SKillous not go home, cats?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Very difficult decision to make, obviously, already. At the time where you were like, I'm surprised he didn't go back. It was 1 second since the engagement started, but I get what you're saying. When you're a player and you're in there, you have to have ifs and thens and be ready to, in this case, recall is the only call, right? There's nothing else that he could have done?
Well, I feel like he should have disengaged the moment he saw that Goblin was up to 3 bases and had no Immortals. Anyways, this is kind of a tricky fight, though, for the army of Goblin. But Goblin does the right thing, and that is take out the super battery. And that means the rest of the army of SKillous doesn't stand much of a chance here. A little bit of lag. I gotta say, with defensive reinforcements, it seems that SKillous is okay. And Goblin did lose a lot of Phoenix, though, in the last minute.
That is extremely surprising, given how the fight went on the other side of the map. I thought an entire army had just gotten wiped up for nothing, but on defense, SKillous somehow managing to have enough.
Wow, Goblin is doubling down on Phoenix Zealot. He's going second Stargate. Not sure how I feel about it, because the Templar Archives is on the way, and if there is one thing that Phoenix Zealot really can deal with, it's Archons. So, I don't really understand this choice, but let's see where Goblin takes it.
Yeah, at this point, would you rather see, well, any other transition, I guess, like Archons or a Robo would be perhaps better. He will double down on the Phoenix, though. Okay, here is a little bit of a run by from SKillous, as Goblin is going to try to surround it with his own Zealots. The cannon will be taken down, so that will have to be replaced in case there's something like DTs. Though we know there isn't. The Phoenix trying to do whatever damage they can. They're going to pick off a couple. Oh, this is huge pickoffs on 2 of the Templars, I believe.
Yep.
before they could make into Archons. Okay,
And
now he knows, Roddy. So what do you do if you're Goblin? Do you still stay the course?
If I was Goblin, I would really build my own Templar archives and take those extra gases, but maybe just get one more fight in, because right now, obviously, there are no Archons yet, and there might be one Archon. The biggest problem is when the Archon count goes up to 4 or 5, SKillous jumps to the low ground. I gotta say, I don't like how Goblin often lifts too many units at once. It just takes so long to kill them, but this time he will get away with it. And the nice thing about killing these Stalkers cats is that it forces SKillous to make more Stalkers, and he doesn't want to make Stalkers, he needs Archons right now.
Yes, exactly. So I love this move by Goblin, kind of just piling on the pressure. As soon as he realized that Archons were on the way, the Zealots were gonna start losing some of their potential, and so he tries to engage regardless. SKillous seems to have enough, though.
Yeah, it's because he used all the energy already on the Phoenixes, and I gotta say I'm a bit surprised to see Goblin taking fights on the other side of the map in your opponent's natural or third without a War Prism or without a Proxy Pylon, Proxy Gateway, right? Like, you don't see that very often at this level.
Yeah, somehow the supplies are even. This is kind of crazy, actually. And now Goblin is going for his own Templar Archives, but it seems a little bit late. Where Goblin has taken very good engagements on his side of the map, he's kind of just returned the favor to SKillous by crossing, which is a little bit odd.
Oh, he barely misses the prism. No, did he see it? Okay, he sees the prism. Sniping the prism here would be massive because SKillous, in a way, is all in because he doesn't have a forge. So what SKillous does have is the Archon advantage, but all that Goblin needs, I feel like, is 10-15 seconds for his own Archons, and then I think he's going to win the game. He has +1, +2 on the way. Oh, sniping that prism is so big, cats. Otherwise, I really think Goblin would have been in trouble.
All right, how do you use this Phoenix? Do you keep him for the Stalkers? Do you even bother with that many Zealots? I mean, there's the shield batteries coming up, so he's done a good job of buying some time, but no Archons just yet.
Get Archons! Oh my god, he's not wiping in any Archons. I think you lift Zealots, as silly as it sounds, but Zealots die so much quicker than Stalkers do, so I really think you lift Zealots and Sentries.
Oh, there he is. And that's, for the most part, what he's been doing. He lifts up a couple of Stalkers here and there. There is no shield battery to help Goblin, but it seems like he might just barely have enough. This Archon's trying to chase around the Phoenix, but that leaves the Stalkers untouched to do whatever they want, and Goblin with a decisive fight.
Yep. Goblin should chill. There's no reason to chase this. I mean, yeah, it might be good, but just chill. Spend your money, Goblin. Get your own Archon or 2 Archons. If Goblin gets 2 Archons, he wins the game here. Look at the upgrades. He's got +1 air weapons. He has +1 on the ground. +2 halfway done. Okay, he has an Archon. There's no need for Goblin to, be that aggressive and keep fighting so far away from reinforcements, especially when you have money in the bank.
At this point, is it useful? Do you feel like it's good to still go for more Phoenix? Like, do they continue to scale well? Because that's what we have been seeing from Goblin, is remaking those units.
Yeah, what I like about it in a weird game like this is, you can always do more economic damage. So if your opponent wasn't all in yet, they are super all in at this point, and they're great in sniping a prism. And on top of that, in a way, it forces out Stalkers, but SKillous really doesn't want to make Stalkers, right? So Archons are great, but Archons are great with support. If you just kill everything besides the Archons, well, then all of a sudden the Archons are not that scary anymore. That is a lot of Archons, though, cats.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is a very scary army still for SKillous. The Zealots have to be so careful on the side of Goblin. Do you want to trickle them into this? I mean, it sounds silly, but just a straight up engagement, everything might just melt. The Phoenix is going after whatever they can. They're gonna pick up the prism in the back like you were talking about, and maybe some of these Stalkers. It looks like the Archons are standing tall, but with the Stalker DPS, maybe Goblin just has right about enough.
Yep, and he's got the defensive weapons as well. He had a couple shield batteries on his right. GG gets called. Goblin ties up the score between the Immortals. Anyways, it's been a very fun series. These two guys very evenly matched so far. Let's see who takes this important victory in Group C. In the bottom right side of Lightshade, we're looking at the main base of Molodor Braton himself. It is SKillous.
And on the top left-hand side, red, and for Team Roddy, it is Goblin.
And at one point where he's like, I don't really have any ideas. I was like, what about Triggered Robo? You're always good with it. He's like, no, it sucks. And on top of that, I don't think it's good against SKillous. And I was like, well, why would you go Proxy Oracle then? He's like, because I don't think he would ever build a Stargate against me because I play Phoenix all the time. So if you can get Oracle against Robo, it's obviously not that bad, right, for the Stargate player.
And he was completely right in his assessment, that SKillous nearly has his Robo completed, though he is making Stalkers to try and be kind of all-rounded. He's gonna have to be in position as well. And actually, the Stalker is gonna get picked off here by the Oracle instead of the Oracle going over to the main. Hey, the Stalkers are here. Do you just go to the main when the Stalkers are here?
There's a shield battery finishing up. I mean, looking at it, Cats, I think you were right. I think if he wouldn't have gone for that Stalker, then maybe he just runs into the main immediately. But if you already activate Pulsar Beam once, you can't really activate Pulsar Beam, kill a Stalker, deactivate it, and then fly into the main base and activate Pulsar Beam again. But
right.
the big downside here for Goblin is that he didn't actually get into the main base. Goblin doesn't know if Skill is expanded. Goblin doesn't even know that Skillous has a robotic facility at home. And that means Goblin is in all sorts of trouble. He only has a single pylon powering his gateways as well. Oh. Killing that Stalker is actually what killed Goblin.
Wow, and Goblin doesn't really have very good fighting units. The Adepts completely out of position. The Oracles are going to try to do what they can do to equalize on the other side of the map, but there's a shield battery that you were talking about, and a Stalker as well. So Goblin already having to spend his own super battery, but he doesn't really have any unit producing capacity.
Nope. I mean, I feel that even if Goblin kills 15 probes on the other side of the map, it's simply not enough. Skillous has way more firepower in his army at this point, and he's got way more micro potential in his army as well with the Warp Prism. I don't think this is a doable hold for Goblin, but the probes are going to do their absolute best. Cats, do you believe in miracles?
Not in this one, for sure. So yeah, it's looking a little bit rough. It looks like SKillous is going to micro his heart out, and all of the probes have fallen for Goblin, so SKillous will be taking this serious as Goblin is forced to tap out.